Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe.
Tom found the office of his boss, Mr. Banks. He knocked tentatively on the door. "Come in," a voice bellowed. Tom entered the corner office and came face to face with Mr. Banks, a middle-aged man with slick back hair and a serious demeanor. He gestured for Tom to take a seat. "So you're our new recruit," Mr. Banks stated, peering at Tom over his glasses. "I expect you to work hard. This is a demanding job with long hours. But if you have what it takes, you'll go far here at Thompson and Amp, Banks." He went on to explain Tom's role and responsibilities. Tom nodded eagerly, soaking in every word. This was his big break, and he was determined to prove himself. The first few weeks on the job flew by in a blur for Tom. He was assigned client accounts right away and had to hit the ground running. The learning curve was steep, but Tom stayed late every night trying to grasp the complex world of accounting. He made mistakes, but he learned from each one. Slowly but surely, Tom started to get the hang of things. He felt himself growing more confident with every passing day. Tom was proud of the long hours he was putting in without complaint. This was his chance to move up in the world, provide for himself and eventually his family. He wasn't going to mess it up. One Tuesday afternoon, Mr. Banks popped his head into Tom's cubicle unexpectedly. "Stevenson, I need the Harrison account financials on my desk in 15 minutes for a 2 o'clock meeting," he barked before disappearing down the hall. Tom's heart dropped. The Harrison file was huge. There was no way he could analyze all the data and compile a report that fast. With his hands shaking, Tom pulled up the account on his computer. He tried to make sense of the columns of numbers, willing them to divulge their secrets. But it was no use, and the clock was ticking. 2 o'clock was approaching. Tom broke out in a cold sweat, his mind racing. What was he going to do? Mr. Banks would fire him on the spot if he didn't have that report ready on time. In a moment of desperation, Tom made a fateful decision. Taking a deep breath, he opened up the report from the previous quarter and changed the dates, making it look current. Surely no one would notice, he told himself. With the false report in hand, Tom rushed down the hall just as Mr. Banks was entering the conference room. "Here are the financials, sir," Tom panted, holding out the pages. Mr. Banks scanned them quickly. "Good work, Stevenson," he replied, before launching into the meeting. Tom exhaled, relief washing over him. He had done it. But just as he began to relax, Tom realized the gravity of what he had just done. He had falsified documents and handed them directly to the head of the company. Tom felt sick to his stomach. How could he have been so stupid? What if he got caught? His dream career would be over in an instant. Shame flooded Tom's senses. He resolved to work late that night and generate an accurate report so he could replace the forged one and no one would be the wiser. Surely he could fix this mistake before it ruined everything. That fateful decision ended up costing Tom his job and reputation. The falsified report went unnoticed for a few days until a manager double-checked the numbers and saw the obvious discrepancies. When confronted, Tom broke down and confessed everything. While Mr. Banks appreciated Tom's honesty, he had no choice but to let Tom go. The firm prided itself on integrity and accuracy. There was no room for such dishonesty, no matter how promising a young recruit might be. Tom walked back down that same elevator and out into the bustling city, but this time with slumped shoulders and stinging tears in his eyes. How could he have ruined everything he had worked so hard for? Tom had learned the hardest lesson of all, that one moment of bad judgment could undo years of diligent work. In the following weeks, Tom fell into a depression. He berated himself constantly, certain that he would never get another decent job in this town or have the means to support himself. But eventually, after many long and sleepless nights, Tom realized he had to pick himself up and try again. He was young still, and people make mistakes. Perhaps somewhere else, he could start fresh and prove himself once more. So Tom found the motivation to begin job hunting again. He volunteered to gain valuable experience. And when he landed an interview, he was honest about his past. Turned out some compassionate people were willing to give him another chance. Tom ended up finding a job at a smaller firm where he was able to work his way back up the ladder. This time, he vowed never to take shortcuts or compromise his integrity. Tom had learned his lesson, and it made him a better person and a more diligent worker. Where there's a will, there's a way, he reminded himself anytime he felt discouraged. And slowly but surely, Tom rebuilt his career and sense of self-worth. Unfortunately, Tom realized too late that his mistake would cost him dearly. Although Mr. Banks fired him, the matter did not end there. It soon became clear that Tom's forged report resulted in serious financial losses for the company in the amount of several $1,000,000. Tom was sued for fraud and forgery. Despite a frank confession, the judge was relentless. Tom received 3 years in prison for his actions. In prison, Tom experienced a real hell. Every day was a struggle for survival among dangerous criminals. From a young optimist, Tom turned into an embittered, broken man. When Tom got out of prison, his life was ruined. His reputation was hopelessly damaged. No one wanted to give him a job. Family and friends turned their backs on him. In desperation, Tom began to drink. One night, in a drunken stupor, he tried to rob a store, but was shot by a security guard while trying to escape. Thus ended the story of poor fellow Tom, who crashed against his own pride and greed. His example once again reminds one thoughtless decision can destroy a whole life.
Please subscribe to the channel and watch the next video.